her. Liten solooppvisning først. Passning til Steve Brown, og han tilbake rett på kølleblad til Roy Johansen, som helt frispilt. 2 minutter senere var det klart for utligning igjen. Det Erik Nerell først. Knut Valby som bråstanser, og skuddet sitter helt oppe i krysset. Det 2-2 etter 16:42. Jarl Eriksen i Vålerenga-målet helt dekket CV av Bjørn Kolsrud. 2-2 altså etter første periode. I andre periode ble det bare 1 scoring, men begge lag hadde sjanser etter til dels mye bra spill. Drøye 16 minutter her. Vålerenga spiller 4 mot 3. Tor Helge Eikeland. Og så det Marius Ratt som får passning fra Steve Brown igjen, og det 3-2 til Vålerenga etter 16:24. Her ser vi Steve Brown. Marius Ratt drar seg forbi Furuset-forsvaret og setter pucken forbi Torbjørn Norskau. Det var som nevnt et helt annet VIF-lag enn det som tappte klart på tirsdag, selv uten 2 så sentrale spillere som Espen Knudsen og Arne Bilkvam. Men Furuset var med gjennom hele kampen. 7 minutter ut i siste periode her. Skudd utenfor. Og så Ole Eskil Dahlstrøm alene på passning fra Pål Dahlstrøm og Geir Hoff, og det 3-3 etter 7:05. Ole Eskil Dahlstrøm. Litt senere fikk VIF en mann utvist, og Furuset overtok nå mer og mer av spillet. Drøye 9 minutter her, og det skudd fra Jarle Friis som får stå helt alene, passning fra Geir Hoff igjen, og Furuset leder første gang i kampen med 4-3. Se her, Jarle Friis, et fint plassert skudd, helt opp i krysset. Og nå var det klart at Vålerenga-spillerne begynte å bli slitne. Med 2 mann på sykelista gikk det hardt utover de som var igjen, og bedre ble det ikke da de fikk en ny utvisning. Så det passning fra Geir Hoff, denne gang til Rob Dorocek, og Furuset leder 5-3. Etter 13:25. Geir Hoff altså, masse passninger, fin passning her til Rob Dorocek. Og vi får den enda en gang i repetisjon. 5-3 til Furuset. Helt på slutten av kampen tok Vålerenga ut keeper og hadde et par gode sjanser. Den beste kommer her. Det Marius Ratt som går bak goalen. Passning til Lars Bergseng som skyter på keeper. Dermed ble det ikke flere mål i kveld. Furuset vant altså 5-3, har nå 2 seire. Dermed blir det en tredje og avgjørende kamp på Jordal Amfi førstkommende søndag.
Passning til Geir Hoff. Og så går hele laget i angrep. Det Knut Valby. Skudd og i mål! Skudd og i mål! Vi spiller 4 mot 5. Det spilt i 8 minutter og 18 sekunder. Knut Valby gir Furuset ledelsen 1-0. Litt grann ufortjent, men dårlig markering av Vålerenga bakover der.
Det slapt jobbe hjem på banen, ingenting annet. Erik Nerell starter på motsatt, så Jarl Eriksen blir usikker og vet ikke om han skal ta den ene eller andre siden. Så ser vi Erik Nerell på motsatt side her.
På venstre side
der jo alt for sent ute på å markere han.
Og så det plutselig 4-0. Det 4-0, det Peter Eriksson.
Ja, det Furusets tredje rekke igjen, som nok en gang blir en joker i dette sluttspillet da. Og Peter Eriksson frem på en retur. Og Vålerenga jo helt i oppløsning.
4 minutter og 29 sekunder. Og det 4-0 til Furuset. Ja, Vålerenga prøvde seg gang etter gang i første periode, og vi hørte Jonny Strandem sa vi ventet bare på golden. Og Peter Eriksson, altså sistemann på pucken. Og så har Vålerenga fullt mannskap, og da skal det bli spennende å se hvilke sammensetninger. Se på Geir Hoff, skyter utenfor her, og så kommer de til. Og den var vel inne, der det innom sider, ja. Har det Peter Eriksson igjen?
Ja, det var Peter Eriksson.
Det det, ja, som var sistemann på pucken. Men det var jo Geir Hoff som dro opp dette da.
Ja.
Og så det 5-0, og det spilt i 8 minutter og 13 sekunder. Og det jo ikke noe å komme fra at selv om man kan synes litt synd på Vålerengas spillere, så det beste norske laget i denne sesongen som nå vi ser utfolde seg her på Jordal Amfi. Og så er det Knut Valby som holder på å øke ledelsen. Jon Magne Karlstad. Og så Jon Magne igjennom, og så skårer Jon Magne! Det er redusering til 1-5 etter 8,5 minutt av siste periode. Jon Magne Karlstad, en av veteranene i Vålerenga. Han skåret igjen, han. Og på å si, det er ikke så langt nær så viktig denne gålen som den han skåret mot Frankrike og mot Sparta sist søndag. Men ja, kanskje, man vet aldri. Nå er det bare 4 mål fram.
Den er i hvert fall veldig viktig for Torbjørn Norsk for å holde nullen i en finale.
Jeg ser da. Toto Eikeland, han spiller ofte veldig offensivt som bekk. Til Lars Bergseng, til Roy Johansen, og så kan du skyte, Roy! Ja, merker han ikke skjøt der. Med en gang. Så er pucken fri, Roy Johansen. Og det er bra, og der skårer vi igjen! Og det er Jon Magne Karlstad igjen! Det er redusering til 2-5. Etter 11 minutter og 2 sekunder. Jon Magne Karlstad igjen. Og da må nok Furuset begynne å skjerpe seg litt grann. Nå ble det litt for mye lekstuga. Fin passning fra Roy Johansen og til Jon Magne Karlstad. Og Jon Magne Karlstad er på isen igjen, han. Det er ikke lange pausen han får.
De skaper et veldig trykk, disse 3 i Furuset der med en gang de kommer ut på.
Marius Rapp, Espen Schampo. Og så Petter Salsten, Jarle Friis, Ole Eskil Dahlstrøm. Skudd, dekket, Rønne! Dekket skudd. I veien, og Jarl Eriksen slapp pucken forbi seg. Og så er det plutselig 6-2 etter 12 minutter og 21 sekunder. Ole Eskil Dahlstrøm som jeg har sett litt lite til, og som vi sa, eller som du sa, Erik, med en gang denne rekka kommer sammen igjen, så blir det trykk på Vålerenga. Petter Salsten får kongepokalen fra Ole Jakob Libek, presidenten i Hockeyforbundet. Og det er den 7. bøtta, som det heter, til Furuset. De har 6 NM fra før av.
Jag var orolig före den här matchen angående koncentration. Vi alla ville avgöra med en tredje matchen här, men det är svårt att koncentrera sig då matcherna kommer sig tätt.
Nå har du altså sørget for at Furuset er blitt vårt desidert beste lag. Er det veldig mye trenerens fortjeneste, eller hvem skal ha mesteparten av æren for at Furuset er så gode og blitt norsk mester?
Ja, jag kan ju tala om att fram till dagens morgonträning så hade vi 248 gemensamma träningar plus 55 kamper och dessutom en del individuell obligatoriska träningar, så att det ligger mycket hårt arbete bakom. Det gör det.
Og som siste innslag i denne sportsrevyen, et glimt av engelsk fotball. Knut T. Hogledic kommenterer.
Welcome to the Spectrum Philadelphia for the NHL Game of the Week on Eurosport. And the action heats up as the season moves towards its climax. Tonight, it's all or nothing for the Philadelphia Flyers as they host the Los Angeles Kings. Philadelphia have victories this season over the Kings, both here in Philadelphia and at LA's Great Western Forum. But despite that, they're currently last in the Patrick Division. And to sew up one of the 4 divisional playoffs berths, they must climb 5 points to 4th place. They've got 8 games left, 6 of those against Patrick Division opponents, so the postseason is still a possibility for Philadelphia. But every game is now a must-win situation. The Flyers didn't help themselves by a dismal 6-3 loss on Saturday night to the league's worst team, the Quebec Nordiques. That defeat taking Philadelphia to 3-6-1 in their last 10 games. They're 19th in the NHL right now, with a 15-8-2 record here at the Spectrum. However, the break they need tonight could be that Los Angeles star Wayne Gretzky is currently out with a groin strain suffered during Saturday's win over Boston. It was the Kings' 4th consecutive victory, including a defeat of Buffalo on Thursday, and they now have a 12-point lead over Vancouver in the Smythe Division. Los Angeles bring a 13-19-4 road record into tonight's game, ranking 13th overall in the NHL. They've the 18th ranked defense and 3rd ranked offense, although the league's leading scorer won't be with them tonight. Well, with Gretzky out, the Los Angeles Kings will be counting on leading goal scorer Luc Robitaille to help fill the gap and add to his 13 points on the last 12 games. And also returning to the Spectrum for the first time as a King will be Thomas Sandstrom. He's proved the highlight of the Kings' Ranger trade, 19 points in his last 13 games, with 3 assists coming Saturday versus the Boston Bruins. In Flyers colours, watch out for the #1 line of Rick Tocchet, Murray Craven and captain Ron Sutter. Tocchet leads the team in goals, assists, power play goals and points per game. And while Sutter centres the line, contributing 19 goals and 22 assists so far on the season. Well, the Rangers and Washington are also in action tonight, so a win vital to the Flyers if they're to claw their way into the playoffs. They're up against a team on a 4-game roll, but the absence of Kings captain Gretzky means this game could go either way. Let's join our commentators at the Spectrum.
Kelly Rudy will be the goaltender tonight for the Los Angeles Kings. Rudy has been bothered by a virus off and on during the course of the year, and even sometimes when ahead has been removed from games. He's going to try to go the route tonight.
Ken Reggett will start for the Flyers. His last win Thursday night here against the New York Islanders. He had the night off last night in Quebec, but he is back and ready to go. He's played a lot of hockey this year.
Krushelnyski with alternate captain John Tonelli and Bob Kudelski, the front line for the Kings. Waters and Preisler, the defense. Craven, Sutter, and Tocchet, that line reunited for tonight's game. Chychrun and Kartner, typical tandem back on defense for the Flyers. Flyers enter tonight's game 27 wins, 36 losses, and 9 ties. And they are 5 away from the money, 5 points that is. And if you have to figure they have to get past a tie in points, and in most likelihood they will, they need 6. Kudelski with a shot, and sprawling out to make that play, Ken Reggett.
A lot of extra people not in the lineup tonight, and you can see Ilkka Sinisalo's name at the top of the list. He left the building under his own power. We understand that he re-injured his wrist, perhaps in the warm-up. Mike Bullard got a hip pointer last night in Quebec. The rest of the walking wounded, and those scratched for the Flyers, and the big name for the Kings, Wayne Gretzky. Tom Laidlaw also is out of the lineup. They sent him back home from this road trip. Benning is out, Crowder, Allison, and Scott.
Todd Ellick will be in to take this faceoff. He'll have Taylor on the right, and on the left it'll be Robitaille. In back, Duchesne to work with Larry Robinson. Flyers go with Ken Lintzman now. Faceoff won by the Kings, and Duchesne pulled off by Derek Smith. Puck back though for Robitaille's shot. That one snapped up by Reggett, and Reggett just puts it back into play. This is Murray Barron, who had his first ever NHL goal last night at Quebec. One of the few bright lights the Flyers had. And he wound up being a +1 in the game. Most everyone else was on the other side.
Derek Smith is back in the lineup. He missed yesterday's game. There he is at the bottom of your screen, number 24 for the Flyers. He took a vicious elbow from Alan Kerr here on Thursday night against the New York Islanders and had a pretty serious concussion. He was in the hospital overnight. Didn't make it to Quebec, but he's back tonight.
I'll correct myself on Barron. He was a +2 last night in the game. And overall, he is a plus player in his very brief stint here after spending most of the year with the Hershey Bears. And we have a high sticking call coming up away from the play of the puck. It must have been off the faceoff, and I believe it's Ken Lintzman who's going to sit.
49 seconds into this one, Ken Lintzman off for high sticking. The Kings have had a red-hot power play of late, but it has been a power play that has featured Wayne Gretzky. I don't know what it's going to do without him.
They're 8 for their last 16 over the past 4 games. It is Preisler firing one, and he dubbed that shot. It went wide and is played along now by Casper. Casper pointing it back to Duchesne, then over to Preisler again. Peter Preisler looks the traffic over, gives to Duchesne, fires another shot. That one knocked down in front. Sutter able to work it up for Rick Tocchet. Tocchet trying to pull by Duchesne, goes down. Play continues as it's thrown back in. Tocchet trying to draw the penalty, and Kerry Fraser said no sale. Moving along now is Sandstrom. Sandstrom's pass went off the leg of Tocchet and back out, and Tocchet turns to argue with Kerry Fraser as he comes to the bench. All the way down now, it's handled by Duchesne. 18:25 to go. First period of our game tonight from the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Casper connecting across to Duchesne. That one is just flipped away by Eklund and controlled by his countryman, Kjell Samuelsson. And Samuelsson sailed one out of play, so 1:04 still to go on the power play to the Los Angeles Kings.
One of the guys we talked about in our open came to the Los Angeles Kings from the New York Rangers, and the big deal for Bernie Nichols, Tomas Sandstrom. He's still wearing that face shield.
Well, that covers everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, he didn't wear it in the warm-up, and there was some doubt as to whether or not he was going to wear it. But that came from the big brawl with the Edmonton Oilers a couple of weeks ago when he took that mighty left from Glenn Anderson and cracked his cheek. Anderson had a cast on his right arm, and a lot of people thought that he had dinged Sandstrom with the cast. That wasn't the case at all. He just let him have it with the left.
Ron Sutter on the face-off with Krushelnyski. Now Tonelli also out on the power play. Duchesne remains with Preisler. And it's finessed along by Tonelli. Took his own pass. Lost, though, to Samuelsson. Chopped away, but picked up by Kudelski to the back to Preisler. Preisler for a shot by Duchesne, answered by the stick of Reggett. And it is flipped back along, but out of play by Rick Tocchet.
Rick Tocchet has fallen off his pace of late. You know how badly he wants to get 100 points, but there are more important things to this hockey team right now. You see that he's got pretty good totals, but in the last couple of games, he's fallen off that pace.
He has Kudelski right alongside him for this face-off. Sutter able to tip it back, and Samuelsson scales it back down. And the penalty time now has descended to 40 seconds. On the minor to Ken Lintzman. High sticking it was at 49 seconds. Ahead now with this, and cranking one around the wall is McSorley. Went off the stick of Reggett, scooped up by Samuelsson. Has some trouble, it popped in front, but Kartner is there. Terry Kartner moving it back out. Just angled one, hoping for Tocchet, but it kicked right over for Rudy. Then set up along for McSorley. Marty McSorley just drops it on back for the carry by John Tonelli. Tonelli wheels ahead, has a man breaking all alone in front. Score by Krushelnyski. And the Kings get on the board with a power play goal. 2 minutes and 40 seconds into the first period. Mike Krushelnyski on a beautiful pass.
You talk about focus and continuing with the plan that you had. Mike Krushelnyski on a good play from John Tonelli when he cut left. Krushelnyski just kept going wide, but there he was hooked by Sandstrom, or at least by Samuelsson. Didn't throw his concentration off at all, and he was able to beat Ken Reggett to the short side. Now it'll be a test for the Flyers. Here's a reverse angle look at it. After last night's loss to the Quebec Nordiques, you've got to know that the Flyers are a hurting team in the confidence department. That has been something that has been so elusive for them this season. Looked like a confident team one night, looked like a team that's never had any confidence the next. They're going to have to deal with some adversity early here because they trail 1-0 on that Krushelnyski goal.
Second on the power play, 15th of the year for Krushelnyski. And the assist to Tonelli and McSorley at 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Now it's Eklund giving it across to Murphy. Murphy and Barron, the defense pair, as it's Tim Kerr trying to reach it on to Berube. It's dumped right back near Kelly Rudy, and Rudy out to swing one along that ricocheted all the way back to Murphy. Murphy keeps and now fires a shot. That knocked down in front, but scooped back up by Granato, though he turned it off Sandstrom. To the back, Barron a shot. That hit Kerr, who sat down. Kerr trying to poke it, but it went to the corner for Granato. Granato just taps one on back to be read by Duchesne and tossed off of Eklund and back down. Well, you can just feel some tension in the crowd here as the Flyers have given up that first goal. Eklund starting on now with a pass across for Kerr. Lost though to Preisler. Preisler starts it back. Krushelnyski had it flicked away, and all the way down it'll go for Preisler to chase down himself with the help of Rudy. 16:10 to go here in the opening period of our game. The Kings have scored, although they haven't put that one up on the big center ice scoreboard yet. Pass across off of Casper, now tipped loose by Makela. Floated right back out again and controlled by the Kings defense. It is flipped along by Waters, but this time brought on by McGuire. His pass is just checked away by Waters and dumped back down, and there'll be an icing call here. Samuelsson back to touch up. 3 shots by the Kings, none by the Flyers. Early in the first, 1-0 LA.
Night off with the guy in the center of your screen, Wayne Gretzky. Looks like he's got a bucket of popcorn in front of him. Why not? What else do you do when you got a night off? Wayne Gretzky has only missed, including tonight's game, 27 games in his 11-year career. That's amazing.
No, there was a very intriguing stat that you pointed out in one of our earlier telecasts on both Brisbane Sports Channel, and that was the situation with the star players. The leading scorers are always those who seem to be the least hurt. Here's Mellanby, taken hard to the boards that time by Halkitis, and then McSorley wrapped up his man, Derek Smith. To the corner it goes, and along the boards it is a check by Mellanby. Karkner's pass is stolen and brought back out by Taylor. Taylor just run off by Linsman's checking, and now it's gathered in by Jeff Chikrin. Chikrin tries to jam one ahead, but it popped loose near Halkitis. Bob Halkitis with a pass to McSorley, and he flipped it back, and Linsman has to gather. So some table tennis play between the blue lines now. Mellanby stepped in too firmly by Ellick, and then Chikrin comes by. Hitting picking up a little bit by both sides. It's Rudy back behind to swing one along for Ellick. Ellick, who started his career, who started this season with the New Haven Nighthawks, saw a pass go across two lines, and so play is stopped. 14:41 to go in the first. Rather quiet start to this for the Flyers. They trail 1-0. Flyers have a limited number of season tickets in the upper level available for next season. To reserve these seats, send a $50 deposit for each seat to Flyers season tickets. The Spectrum, Philadelphia 19148. All orders will be filled on a first-come, first-served basis, so don't delay. That's the upper level that's available for next season.
That's what you get, having spent